Hey, good morning, everybody. Beautiful Saturday morning. Good morning, everybody. Go get your cup of coffee and let's see what we have. I appreciate all your support. And remember, hit the like, subscribe, share, do two flips, do a cartwheel, and leave a comment. Go have a cup of coffee with me. Different cup. The other one's getting washed. So, the thumbnail is FBI informants that in past historical references, um, they were informants for years. Now, I got Joe Barone in there, who I believe is actually still in hiding. Hey, good morning, Lee. Leon Swan. What a name. That should be the name of a movie, man. Leon's, I'm just JoJo. JoJo. There was this guy, Joe Barone, and my father's mother in New York, maiden name was Barone. And I had no relations. I'm not related to FBI informants, okay? This Joe Barone was the longest running FBI informant. Forget about Donnie Brasco and all that made up crap. For I think it was 18 years. I think he's in hiding right now because when he was an FBI informant, his handler, FBI handler, finally retired. And he was assigned a new agent, and they didn't get along. He got arrested. They reneged on Joe Barone. They reneged on their deal. And there was lawsuits and a lot of confusing stuff after that. And I believe he's in hiding now. He worked for the Genovese family. His father was also a FBI informant, like father, like son. And they weren't high-ranking members in I think it was the Genovese or Bonanno or Lucchese. See, they scramble. They do bits and pieces of things, hustling, shylarking, gambling, maybe strong arm extortion, stuff like that. So his father and then him, and he never wanted to talk about certain things. See, now when the FBI, this guy changed handlers. So the FBI knew how much this guy knew on them. So they were telling him to ask questions on the phone. All the wise guys knew you don't talk on the phone. So that's when this Joe Barone realized they want me dead. The FBI wants me dead. His old handler retired, who he had a good relationship with. He got a new handler, and they were like, let's just get rid of this guy. And so they told him to do something that was so ridiculous. Call on the phone and talk about incriminating stuff. So this Joe Barone knew this ain't right. So he got so they arrested him for some wacky stuff and whatever, and he got out and he sued undisclosed information, and he's in hiding. And he was getting paid like $2,000 a week, like the thing says, $104,000 a week. And he had really good information that he was given the FBI for years and years. He even notified a judge and a United States district attorney that there was hits on them. And then whatever happened, they well, what happened was, I'll tell you what happened. The guys that were gonna make him do the hit. And what happened was those guys got picked up before that. They got picked up. These guys that they wanted Joe Barone to hit, they got picked up and went away before they could get hit. So you don't think the FBI was involved in getting people put away, with a lack of better terms? And there was also high-ranking people in the LCN, La Cosa Nostra, that were playing both sides of the fence. The FBI's got free reins to just ruin somebody, and they have the power to come in and you either play or you don't play, but they hand out 20-year sentences like candy on Halloween night. So it was like the old time La Cosa Nostra, those old timers, the 40s, 50s, 60s, they went and they did their time. They died in prison. They did the big sentences. And then their children and these other people that were born into these families started thinking, I'm not going to do life in prison like Daddy and Uncle John and Uncle Bob did. And I'm not going away for whatever crime. And so there were more FBI informants in these mafia families than Joe Public would ever believe. They paint a picture on YouTube and television shows and movies, and they were all over the place. And even Scarpa, the craziest killer, even you think some of these guys that you think are just the most loyal killing machines and everything. Did the FBI want people killed? Some say they did have people. See, I only could give secondhand knowledge from wherever, but because you got to be very careful when you talk about the FBI. You just got to be very careful. And, they don't play no games. So, Leon, what are you talking about? You're not savvy enough to make it. You got $1 million name. What are you talking about? What are you talking about over there, bro? Swan. That's like magic, bro. Come on. So, this guy, Joe Barone, he's seen it from both sides, and he, very well-spoken man. He got paid, and they turned on him, and he felt like he was being set up. And when it's all said and done, when the FBI doesn't need you anymore, and they know that you know how they roll, you're first in line to get some repercussions, whatever package that comes in. And so he went on the lam and running. He's cleared for the FBI, but there's a lot of people. Well, that's like the generations are gone. Who his information put tons of people in prison. Now, he never, what they were wanting him to do is to testify in court, which he never wanted to, he didn't agree to, and he never did. All he was doing was providing information to the FBI, so to speak, to say, well, this is going down over here, or this is happening over there, and this, you might want to go take a look and see what's going here. So he was spoon feeding them information. He's giving them tips and a heads up, and then through their surveillance work and investigative tools, they would get in there and see what they could come up with, which led to tons and tons of convictions based on this guy's information. This guy is the greatest informant the FBI ever had. Donnie Brasco was a Boy Scout. They plugged him up to be Donnie Brasco was with that family, and then that family got a bad name. Lucchese, Genovese. I get confused by all these families. But that family got a bad name because when they got exposed, they were like, how'd you let an informant in there? So a lot of the other families were kind of a little sketchy about dealing with, I don't know what the hell family that was. Lucchese, Gambino, Genovese, Bonanno. See, they switch names after there's a new leader. The same family had 4 different names. The same guy. So the structure, I don't want to keep track of all that. I'm already crazy enough. So they got a bad name, and there was sit downs, and the commissions were meeting, and they'd all talk. The families would talk, what's going on and everything. And Donnie Brasco got exposed, and it put a bad blemish on that family. And see, the FBI had Donnie Brasco do some of the dirty work. And Donnie Brasco survived. I'm guessing that because he was also telling high-ranking members in the family that he worked. Little did he know that there were high-ranking members in those families that were also FBI informants. And it actually came into play by happenstance, by coincidence, by mere luck, where they seen that the guy's, his handler, one of the guy's handlers seen another gangster with the same handler, and they know that's the FBI. And you can't expose yourself. You can't show your hand and say, "Hey, Pete, you what do you mean? What a coinky dinky. We got the same FBI handler." You can't say that, but you still know in your head when you're dealing. How do you process that and everything? So that guy is a very slickest guy. He never testified. He never testified, and the FBI turned on him when they got a new handler, and it got all crazy and it all got convoluted. They sent him to prison for a year. Then he had his appendix blew up. They put him in the hole, unhealthy. He got He didn't get the medical services in time, whatever, and he sued accordingly, and then the system turned on him. And they have in the FBI files, which is open for the public to read and investigate. And if you go look up Joe Barone, it would be fascinating, but a lot of the stuff is redacted, meaning that those pages, a lot of it's blacked out. But there's still some gold nuggets in there that will have you saying, and you could still get the flavor and gist of it. So, that guy, and he's probably in his 60s today. And it's like, why hide anymore? Sammy the Bull's out there. There's a lot of rats that are visible, informants, and they're visible. And there's nobody still holding grudges in the year 2022. They try to say, is the mafia still alive today? No, it's not. No, it's not. For what? There's no rackets. The government runs the rackets now. The government runs gambling, legal casinos, the lotto, the numbers. I mean, come on. Maybe there's a couple loan sharks out there, but that's it. Nobody's going to go extort somebody and strong arm somebody. Those days are over. Those days are over. Whoever's telling you that on YouTube or anywhere else, those days are gone. The mafia is not alive. The government took over. The government's running the rackets. And believe me, the government was getting, whoever the investigators were, whoever was running things, a lot of envelopes got paid to judges, DAs, detectives, everything along the line. Everything. The warden in prison, the prison wardens, they could be for a price, they could be bought. And don't let the public record fool you, ladies and gentlemen. When a lot of these gangsters are doing these YouTube channels and they're talking about the time they spent in prison and everything else, yeah, they did time, but some went out the back door of the prison and they came back and forth. Well, Joe Schmo's going to the hole for a month. No. Joe Schmo paid somebody $50,000, $40,000, $75,000 to go get away. And then come back and make an appearance and walk them down the line. And they'll see, just like you're back in general population and you're still there. Because a lot of them were also informants. So what a better cover to say, wow, this guy can't be an informant. He's doing time left and right. It was a revolving door, and it was the perfect disguise. So these guys didn't get caught being rats. And what's the safest place to talk to the FBI? Well, when you're supposed to be in the hole and they come in unseen and they're talking to the inmate, gangster, and have a cup of coffee. So that was the perfect setup for staying undiscovered. And you don't see it on all these YouTube channels because these guys are trying to be the loyal gangsters and this and that. And the informant and rat has got a bad name on these legendary YouTube personalities. And, some come right out and say it and some don't. And now you're seeing some other guys with lesser names than high profile names that you know the real stories, know the true information. And you got to realize, for all these families that were out there, 5 families, and then there was another gang, Purple Gang or something, that they ran. They didn't answer to nobody. Not the Purple Gang from the 20s from Detroit, but there was another type of Purple Gang. I think they were actually Jewish. They didn't answer to nobody. They did their things and whatever. They might have worked in tandem with a family to get a piece of work done or do something, but that's that. And you don't see, a lot of these people have great stories and great entertaining criminal mafia careers. And, it's like there was probably, the soldiers and associates in crime families. You don't have to be a made man. You don't have to be made like most viewers might believe. You don't have to be made to be connected and to do things with a family. You don't have to. There was a lot of freelancers out there that didn't want to get made. When you get made, now you're under commitment. Whatever you go rob and steal, you got to hand up to the captain and the boss. What? I'm gonna go out and rob and steal, and then just get my weekly pay. And then if you're caught if you're busted for not, if they ever find out that you didn't send any money up, then you're gonna get whacked. So I talk about my godfather, Mickey, and he was associated with some families, and he told me late in life, he said, and he was a tough guy. He was nobody to be reckoned with. See, they knew what was real and what wasn't. He did work, and he said whatever. It wasn't like he took the oath and got initiated, and then you have to, whatever you hustle, you got to hand up. He said, no, I don't need to belong to no family. I don't need any protection. You come at me, it's going to end bad. So, he told me a lot of different things about the FBI, informants, and it was fascinating that now the stuff he told me a while back, I see some of these YouTube personalities talk about certain things and they're lying, but it's entertainment. It's entertainment. So let them lie. The viewers they'll listen to anything. They don't care. The viewers, they'll listen to anything. You could tell them John Gotti had 9 fingers and 17 toes. They'll believe it. All he needed was 1 trigger finger. So, you see these guys rolling around, and that Joe Barone, he was working both sides, and he got paid whatever, and he had some. They let him do his other hustles. The FBI let him do his other hustles, just give us some information, and but then they feel like they got a guy trapped where they're dealing with other informants, and they're gonna leak the word out that you're an informant, and then instead of the FBI killing you directly, they could just manipulate the situation where other gangsters are going to find out and have you whacked. That's the thanks you get for being an FBI informant. They'll use you like a dish rag and throw you in the garbage. And Joe Barone's handler retired, and then they figured, okay, this Joe Barone knows a lot of information, and they can use it against the FBI, but they put him in jail anyways, and then it was over. He wanted to go lead a regular life, but of course he was scared because he put dozens of people in prison, not by testifying on the stand. He never testified on the stand against anybody. Never once. How do you think he was an informant for 18 years? All he had to do is testify once. He would have been exposed, and then he would have had to run away in witness protection and all that. So of course he's not gonna. But they gave him enough. He gave them enough information for 18 years to keep that deal going, and he was getting paid, and they were letting him still hustle. So they pick and choose on who they can get to play both sides, and it was a lot. You know, they don't want to admit that there were bosses that were in bed with the FBI. You know, all the mafia gangster stuff, and the loyalty, La Cosa Nostra, and all that. There were bosses and captains, of course, capos and all of that were in bed with the FBI. And the FBI. Years ago, I knew an FBI agent that was coming into our office where I was selling steel, and there was a guy on parole from Texas that came in to do his work release, and I got to know they would come in the office, and I got to know an agent that would come in, and I wasn't doing anything crazy and wild, and they played both sides of the fence, and I learned some unbelievable information that it was just like, who would ever believe it? Now it's coming out 40 years later, 30 years later, more and more and more. But it's a touchy subject when you want to talk about the FBI, because they can hem you up. They can get you're guilty until proven innocent. You're not innocent until proven guilty. When it's the FBI, you're guilty, and then you better figure out how to get your ass out of a handbasket, because it's going to be a bad situation. So I do appreciate the FBI and law enforcement and the good they do to try to protect the American citizens. Thank you, FBI, law enforcement. I do respect that you try to keep everybody safe. Thank you. I better give some thanks, because, the FBI does a lot of other work than just mafia-related BS. They do a lot of other work for our country, and I'm not trying to smear them. No. It's just a situation, an environment where those interactions go on, and that's part of that life. It shouldn't be so eye-opening. I mean, you could probably guess it before me or anybody else told you. So, Boston College. Everybody wanted in on. They all got hip. They all got hip to that basketball point, whatever they were doing. They had that kid there that was the star. They had the star, and when he got an interview, if that's the same story, because there was a lot of kids, star ball players, that got approached, and you'll never hear of them on TV or a movie or anything else. But the FBI or whoever would come in, and then the kid would say, I had diarrhea that morning. He'd say, I ate some bad fish. I I had, I couldn't shoot. My stomach, I was gonna shit my pants, and I don't know. I heard a lot of stories, but I was like, geez. But a lot of bookmakers weren't gonna take the action, and they wanted to get down because word got out, and then they wanted in. We don't want to. We won't take the action, but you better let us know what's going on because we'll jack you up. And I don't know, they were laying it off in Vegas, and they had people in places because there were bookmakers that just weren't taking Boston College games. Like, nah. Because you wouldn't know. See, it's easier to lose than, it's easier to just score, 5 points than score 40. So, yeah, that was crazy. That's crazy. Thanks, Leon. It's all entertainment. It's all entertainment. They had a guy, I heard, you see what was going on. It was a lot of times these ball players were gamblers, and they got in too deep with the bookmaker. The bookie has a aha moment that says, well, listen, you owe us $13,000. You do this, you could win the game, but just win by 3, not 8. You could still win the game. Everything's fine. You don't have to win by 10. Just win by 3. Don't cover the spread. And them boys got rich. Those are the same people that were approaching drivers in horse races. And, there was crooked jockeys. And a lot of them bet sports, and they got in too deep. They owed the bookies, and now you got no other choice but to play ball with those bookies. Or you drive horses? Well, we're going to smash your arm. We're going to break your arm. You're not going to drive anymore. You're going to be eating bologna sandwiches and before we come get you anyways. So it was crazy. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Entertaining, fascinating stuff, things. And I don't know if I went to Vegas years ago or something. I knew there's a prominent guy that's a manager of one of the things. And I think for a little period of time, they didn't take Boston College bets. Just like they didn't take UNLV games for a minute, or because they got hip real fast, and they're sharp. You could get a couple curveballs over the plate, and then all of a sudden it's like, nah, nice try, Billy. It's not going to work this time. But them guys, there was a guy, my godfather told me, I think it was early on, that with Boston College, there was another player that he tried to summons. The player wanted to ask a teammate about this or that, and he refused, but he still did it behind the scenes with another connection, and that story was never told. He approached a guy, but he just wanted to be safe, and he was doing it before the movie guy, and he was under the radar, and he didn't owe anybody any money to do that. He didn't owe. He just figured it out and was like, you know what? I ain't getting paid for being a college athlete. The school's making millions of dollars, and he did it like he's the story that nobody knows about. And he was in first. He was in first on it, and they were just making small bets to a ton of bookies, and it was just melting it in. They were just melting it in without raising an eyebrow. And then they had people in all the different casinos, bookmakers in Vegas, just putting down 1,000 here, 500 here, 600 here, and just melting it all in. And you'd still have probably 40, 50,000 on a game. But you just melt it all in. These guys were smart. You just don't go betting 100,000 on a game. And when you bet X amount of dollars, when you do any types of transactions that are over X amount of dollars, the FBI has a right to look into that. Even if you wire a certain amount of money, Western Union, the FBI has a right to look into that if it's over a certain amount of money. So you have to use lower denominations, make more. Yeah, it's more footwork, but it's smart and it's easy. And that kid, nothing was mentioned about it in the movie. He just went on to lead a regular life, but he must have had a ton of money when he graduated. Because they were both playing in the same basketball game. And the one kid might be thinking, oh, we got to beat the spread. And the other kid is thinking, oh, we don't want to. So they were turning the ball over, throwing air balls, and doing all this crazy stuff. But the other kid that was unpublicized made out, got the best of it. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff on a Saturday morning, Leon. Crazy stuff. So, yeah, that's, and as far as the FBI, they know all about this kind of stuff. And you think that they're squeaky clean. And some of them get greedy. They want to make money. They'll use any tactics. They got carte blanche to do whatever they want. And, if they get a case and says investigate this or whatever, and while they're investigating it, they're going, this guy made $65,000 last month undetected. Let me get a little piece of this, get this kid in my corner, play a little ball, and then we'll make it go away and no one knows the difference. You don't see that, you don't hear about it, but you can figure out that it might happen. It might have happened. It might have went on, because it's just very basic. Money and greed and power. I mean, see, you got to realize that the mafia, well, yeah, it's a hustle money. But power is an aphrodisiac. Power. You have the power to do this or say this or do that. It's power. Power. And they use that power very effectively. And the FBI has power. So how do these two entities clash? You can knock heads, or come on, Bill, and have a cup of coffee with me. Let's talk this over, see what we can figure out. I had to get the coffee in there, all right? And maybe that happened. So, and Joe Barone is one guy in the history of informants and the FBI. There would never be anybody that knew intimately more about the FBI than Joe Barone. Whoever sees this video, look him up, Google him, find him on YouTube. He's on there with, I don't know how much, to what extent, but he's on there. So, I'm going all over the board. I'm going left. I'm going right. Well, it's Saturday morning. I better make sure it is, because I already have brain damage and a brain injury, and I gotta, I think one time I said, yeah, it's Friday, in one of my videos, and it was like Saturday or Thursday. Whoever my viewers were like, This cup of JoJo must have whiskey in that cup because he doesn't even know what day it is. So that is that, my dear people, my dear friends. And let's get a little devotion in, all right? Don't run. Don't run, okay? Because we need help in our spirituality, okay? It's not a bad thing. You know, I always feel like, oh dear, here comes the spiritual devotion. My viewers are going to be like, click off. Well, I could feel them just waving goodbye to a cup of JoJo. Not sticking around for the devotion today, JoJo. Sooner or later, it's just good psychology. And, all right, enough of that. I better make sure I got the date right. The 27th. I was going to do the 28th. Yeah. I'm not on drugs. I'm not on alcohol. I'm on oxygen. And I'm on the Spirit of God blessing me and sparing me my whole life with divine intervention. You want to read a good book I wrote? They dead missed. You communists. You'll hear a lot of more stuff on that, but I don't tout my book. I've been though lately, but I give it away. But I ain't giving any more of them away. That's a wrap. Whatever. Go buy that garbage that you people buy. You get the real deal with me. All right. To each his own, though. All right. I'm not bad. I'm getting away from bashing and talking smack to whoever comes upon my video. Okay. I'm getting a little more savvy. Hit the like button, hit the comment button, share, subscribe, do 2 flips and a somersault and hit the like button. And then when you're done, do a cartwheel and a roll and 3 jumping jacks and hit the share button. If that gets me more subscribers, maybe it'll make more unsubscribe. All right. Jesus calling. Now, this is a daily devotion, 1 for each day of the year. Spiritual breakfast. Make you think about a couple things than just being robotic human beings, okay? Let's expand our horizons. Let's open up the universe and investigate what we can bring into our reality. Create your own reality. Don't be just at the mercy of the world is just no. You're just going to be defensive at what the world is bringing on you. And some people can't handle it. So what are you left to do? You got to come with the offense. You got to have an offense. Here's a little offense. All right, folks. Saturday, August 27th. Spend time with me for the pure pleasure of being in my company. I can brighten up the dullness of gray days. I add sparkle to the routines of daily life. Okay, we're preparing an offense. You have to repeat so many tasks day after day. You go to work, you go home, you have dinner. Good night, honey. Repeat, rewind. Rewind, play. Does life become routine? Sure does. This monotony can dull your thinking until your mind slips into neutral. See, then you're just complacent. A mind that is unfocused is vulnerable to the world, the flesh, and the devil, and all of which exert a downward pull on your thoughts. Now you're open season because you're just in a neutral mode. As your thinking process deteriorates, you become increasingly confused and directionless. You got no direction. The best remedy is to refocus your mind and heart on me, your constant companion. Your constant companion is there, and you're just at the mercy of the world. It's now time to focus on your companion. Jeez, what a novel concept, boys and girls. Even the most confusing day opens up before you as you step as you go step by step with me. My presence goes with you wherever you go, providing light for your path. I don't want to go down any dark paths. I want to go down the path that's lit, because I don't know what might be waiting in the bushes. The devil and demons, I've been there, done it. I don't want to go down those dark paths no more. Spent too much time on them paths. No, not me. Been there, done it. Been dead, came back, went full circle. No, not me. Mm-mm. I just don't want to become neutral and complacent in the world. And all I am is in a defensive posture to go, poor me, why'd that happen? Geez, oh, geez. Hey, Bill, God, and then you're just a Debbie Downer and everything's just boo-hoo, boo-hoo. And people like to be stuck in that posture. No, get out of there. Fight the world back. Have an offense. Have an offense. Open up your mind, your soul, your heart, your spirit. And you could create this reality back into your world. Does that sound fairy tale, folks? Well, if it sounds fairy tale, take a walk. Take a walk. Go out to the world and let the world kick you behind, all right? That's fine. And then you die. Then you die. And then that's that. So, all right, folks. I covered a lot of many things. Thank you, Mr. Leon Swan, with the $1 million. He's my wingman here. And I appreciate every viewer that comes in here and comments, likes, subscribes, and all of that stuff. I appreciate it. And I really just want to open up your mind, your heart, and your soul. And I got to do certain stories to keep you watching my channel, because I can't just be a Jesus spiritual channel. I won't get an audience. So I'm stuck between, because I'm getting sick of gangster stories. Hey, Jimmy, I'm getting sick of doing gangster stories. It gets old, but it gets the views. And I can't just have a spiritual channel because nobody wants to hear about any Jesus calling. But what I say is we're at the mercy of the world and everybody's on defense. You're all blocking. Yeah, Leon, everybody loves the mob stuff, but, you can't talk about the FBI and all this kind of stuff. It's no, But like I was saying, I can't just do spiritual stuff, Jesus calling and everything, because I'm not visible enough. If I already had 17,000 subscribers, I can integrate that. But to start a channel, yeah, but that's good. That's good about the bills. That's good. But to start a channel and get recognition and get some subscribers, I got to use that to springboard up. But the mafia, the people got an appetite for the mafia, but it's not what people really think. The mafia and the FBI. So I'm getting sick of it. I'm just gonna start telling other interesting stories about certain things. Look up stories and give a narrative on it, and that's it. But I got 62 subscribers faster than a lot of people ever did in the history of mankind. Oh, yeah, that big Bobby Luisi. Ain't that funny that you see all the mafia personalities out there where the code was silence. The code of silence for the mafia is gone. All the ex-bosses and the hitmen and everybody else is on. I was nobody in there. I was nobody. I wasn't a made man. I wasn't initiated. I was a nobody. Nobody. But now you've seen all these channels, these high-profile names. They got YouTube channels. I know an old-timer that knew my godfather. Mickey Campanella was my godfather, and he did work for different families. And there's an old-timer, got to be 85 years old. And he was telling me some things, and I was saying, why do you want this information? I was like, well, because I got a YouTube channel. He's like, oh, you stupid, Jojo. You're going to go on, this guy. He's like, You want to tell stuff like, I says, yeah, the gangsters got the, like Sammy the Ball, all this. He goes, these old Italian gangsters that are 90 and 85 today, they can't figure out why these people are doing stuff on social media. They're like, are you nuts? It was a secret life, and now they're up there. Yeah, I whacked this guy, I whacked that guy. No, a cup of JoJo was never initiated into any family. I was a nobody for a blink of an eye in time. I went and got bread and milk at the grocery store. That was my job. Go get some donuts and coffee, and that's it. Go get a cup of JoJo from the corner store. Now you're going to get it on YouTube. So I think, so that was a devotion. You gotta have some offense. You can't just be on defense all the time. So you got to throw punches. It's hard to keep blocking punches. So the devotion is you're going to have to throw. You're going to have to throw down. Just like that vet, that Vietnam vet I did the other day with the shaky hand and all that crazy shit. He's like, you can't just sit and try to dodge bullets. You got to just get boom, like Rambo, bam, 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 bam. So everybody's different. Everybody's got a different perception of life in the world. And this is just mine. So that's about it. I think, well, Jimmy, if you're still there's this great dude, James M. I've known him for a while. And this guy got a very high IQ about certain things. And as far as the Bills are concerned, James M., they're going to come out of the gates. That was nothing. That is a high school scrimmage. That is absolutely nothing. When Josh Allen and them boys get out there, they're just smackdown. I want them to look bad during preseason so you could get better points when the real game. So when you go to bet them, instead of them being minus 14, they're only going to be minus 6 because they're going, geez, the Bills look bad during preseason. Good. Because they'll win their first game 24-0. Well, they're playing the Chargers somewhere along the line. So, oh well. Oh yeah, Reggiano. Real. So that's it, my good people. You guys go out and have a good day, everybody. Anybody that comes upon this video, and be the kings and queens of your world. Stay great. Stay blessed. Don't ever give up. You're going to have to throw some punches. You're going to have to put an offense out there. And you got a good wingman. Jesus will roll with you. And you'll be like, damn, I could throw down. I could get these things done. So, all right, James M. Great dude right there. And so that was a devotion. So hit the like button, subscribe button, share button, comment. Go outside, do 2 cartwheels and 1 backflip. And maybe I'm asking too much, but thank you for your support. We're on our way to 100 subscribers. God bless and have a great day.